Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Well, all right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast. Kevin and Chuck. Today, well, we're going to talk about nuclear accidents. Basically, we'll call it the Meltdown episode.
There you go.
So it turns out, a lot of preppers, they worry about EMP or solar flare or even the grid going down. All these things could really affect your local nuclear power plant. That's kind of a big problem. Even a threat to software could be an issue, as far as your nuclear power plant. A lot of this cyber terrorism, that's definitely a possibility of bad things that could come. Now, HBO has this new show, Chernobyl. And it had, Rush Limbaugh, all these people I keep hearing talking about it. Oh, it's so great and whatever. So, and we had a listener a little while back, Chris.
Right.
Chris was like, hey, I live near a nuclear power plant. What do you guys think? What are some extra steps we could take? So I'd been thinking about it. And then I had just finished a audiobook and, on the apocalypse, because that's what I do, is listen to audiobooks on the apocalypse.
Right.
And they talk about, all the power going out everywhere and the nuclear power plants being a real threat. That basically there's no way to keep everything cool forever. Those control rods and all that. So that kind of got me thinking. And they were like, yeah, if the military's there, they can actually keep like bucket brigade and water, or if they can keep the diesel generators going, they can do it if things were shut down properly.
Right.
Which you could maybe do with the diesel generator, assuming that whatever valve's still open and closed, that it might be electronically controlled or whatever. So anyway, I was like, yeah, we should really look into this. So I started, I put on some of that Chernobyl TV show and started watching that. Brutal. At first, when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we're all going to die. There's no hope for humanity at all. There's just going to be a big nuclear cloud over America when all 60 maybe of our commercial power nuclear reactors shut down. Now, I seem to find different information everywhere I looked. When I looked online, government websites would be like, oh, America has 99 nuclear reactors. Then I see next line, oh, America has 60 commercial reactors. So anywhere, you said you had some numbers on how many people are affected by...
It says 3 million Americans, this is in the United States, 3 million people live within 10 miles of a nuclear power plant.
All right. Now, 10 miles is definitely a problem area.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be, worried. Basically, my research, it ends up, you get about 50 miles away, and you're kind of in that safe zone.
Mm-hmm.
And every bit further from there, you're going to feel a little bit better. So I did take some notes, and we'll kind of go over the basics quick. I don't want to bore you with everything, but I wrote some crap down, and we'll see. And this is from, I'll tell you, it is from the World Nuclear Association. So it's worldnuclear.org.
All right. Excellent.
And
now, before we get any further,
okay,
it is now acceptable to say nuclear or nuclear.
All right.
After once the president says nuclear, you're good. It's just a thing. Just like Bill Clinton didn't have sex with that woman, he just got a blowjob. Blowjobs are now not sex, and if you're married, you can get outside BJ's. The president did it. That means it's good.
All right. So nuclear
is how you're supposed to say it, but both are now acceptable.
Both are now acceptable. What, the redneck version or
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So in normal operation of a nuclear reactor, concentrated sources of radioactive isotopes, uranium or plutonium, are brought into close proximity with each other. In so doing, neutron particles from one atom of the nuclear elements causes a neighboring atom to split. This is fission. In turn, each fission event will release more neutrons, resulting in a cascading chain reacting of rapidly multiplying fissions. The chain reaction of nuclear fission is controlled in a reactor by inserting control rods that absorb neutrons and reduce the reaction.
All right.
So that's what slows it down from the whole runaway. These fissions release a great deal of energy, blah, blah, blah. Each atom of radioactive isotope emits radiation only once. So over time, the source becomes less radioactive. This radioactive decay occurs at a predictable rate, half-life, that is specific to, plutonium or uranium.
Mm-hmm. So
there is an end, and this half-life is pretty short. Basically, it's about every 24 hours. It's going to kind of cut in half how dangerous it is. Now, if you're sitting next to the, uranium laying on the ground, that's different.
Right.
That's not the same. We're talking about after the dust and stuff emits and is coming out in your cloud or, whatever. Every day, it's going to be half as bad as it was the day before.
Right.
Now, the way you need to think about this is imagine all the dust and the things that come out in the smoke or, whatever coming around from there. Each one of these is like a source of radiation, continually, emitting. But like I said, with a half-life that keeps reducing in potential power. So you want to be away from that. And they say, I think in the Chernobyl show, they said think of it like bullets just flying out and destroying anything in its path. Well, you can actually be exposed. And everything I was reading says the government keeps changing their mind on how much you can be exposed to.
Right.
And how dangerous it really is. You could get where, it looks like you're getting sunburn and, stuff and still kind of not really have long-term effects and be okay.
Right. Well, and it's also tricky to figure out because there's about 6 different ways that they measure the same radiation.
And there's different types of radiation. There's gamma radiation is the bigger, threat you need to worry about.
That's the one that turns you into the Incredible Hulk. Right.
And
That's
you can
gamma
turn
radiation.
into the Incredible Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, a lot of different stuff going on there. And you kind of, it's I'm stressed. Now, the government website, that worldnuclear.com or .org there, they were like, most people die from their fear and misinformation about radiation. So that
doesn't even make any sense.
That collapsing. No, they said you're going to go and drink yourself to death. Because you're like, I've been exposed.
I'm already dying.
Fuck it.
I might have cancer in 20 years. I might as well start drinking now.
Now, I did pick up a good tip, and I wrote it down in my notes. During the whole Chernobyl thing, I'm watching the TV show, and there was a guy, I have it in my notes, his name was Paul. And Paul the plumber at the plant says that if you drink a glass of vodka every hour for 4 hours, you'll be good. Don't even worry about it if the plant melts down.
A glass of vodka. First off, this is in the current day Ukraine, right?
1989.
1989. So it's in Soviet Russia at the time. Currently, it's where the Ukraine is now. It's somewhere in there.
All right.
and this dude's name is Paul.
I was as shocked as you were, but I'm watching
Paul the
Chernobyl
plumber.
on HBO.
Okay.
And the guy's like, look, I talked to Paul, and they were like, who's he? And he's like, well, he's a plumber. And they're like, you're trusting a plumber? And he's like, a plumber at the nuclear power plant.
Right. All right. So I get this. So the idea is you drink a glass of vodka a day. What is a glass of vodka?
A glass of vodka an hour.
An hour.
For 4 hours.
And what is it? What is a glass? Is that maybe 2 cups of vodka?
I would think a cup.
Okay, so we're talking about maybe, what, 8 ounces?
I have no idea how many ounces
4
are in a
ounces?
cup.
I think
What
it's
the fuck
4.
do I look like?
I think it's 4. So you're talking about four shots, 16 shots in 4 hours. That would kill my ass. I'll tell you right now. I wouldn't have to worry about radiation.
Yeah, but they're
that's
Russians.
for damn sure.
They're a little more
I wouldn't-
hardcore.
I wouldn't die from radiation, that's for sure. Because I'd die from alcohol poisoning.
You know, it's that negative attitude that's going to make you not get through. It sounds like you've already given up.
I've already given up on life. That's it.
This is how it happens. So they did have some notes on the whole Chernobyl thing, and this was not from the TV show that I would point out is based in, well, faction. Well, faction. You know, fact fiction.
You know,
not sure.
I feel like it's a lot of people are going to watch this miniseries and think it's a completely fictionalized story.
Oh no,
It's
and it should expose you
very
to how
real.
communism works.
Yeah,
And
it really does. It really does too.
Oh, you better not give me bad news. I'll shoot your ass.
Yeah, the bearers of bad news are always the
Yeah,
always
you don't want to be that guy.
Guys that get
So-
shot and you know, you should go physically and walk up and get right next to it and make sure that
Just look.
what you said happened.
Yeah. So basically, the way it plays out in Chernobyl, 1986, people were exposed to some serious radiation. They said 24,000 people living within 15 kilometers of the plant received an average of 450 MSVs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the whole thing that we're going to keep kind of going back to on the amount of exposure you have.
Okay.
We'll just say that basically being exposed to an x-ray machine is like 0.1 MSV for an x-ray machine. So, 450 versus 0.1, that's pretty well, radiated. So you don't really need to worry about your x-ray machine.
Right. Basically a 1,000 MSV per hour is about what you get to kill you. But if you are exposed to 100 MSV for 10 hours, that's also 1,000 MSV, and that's fatal. Or
Gotcha.
It can be fatal.
So it all, exponential. So in June 89, a group of experts from the World Health Organization agreed that incremental long-term dose of 350 MSV should be the criteria for relocation of people.
Mm-hmm.
All right? But they said this was considered conservative. So we ensured that the risk to the health from exposure was very well compared to the risks of overall life. Out of 134 severely exposed workers and firemen, 28 of the most heavily exposed died as a result of acute radiation syndrome within 3 months. Of these, 20 were from the group of 21 that had received 6.5 GY. No idea. Had received, and out of that, 22 had received between 4.2 and 6.4. Now, again, I don't know why I should know all these different things, because it doesn't really matter. Bottom line, you're fucked if... But the idea is, they act like you're just going to die if you're exposed to anything, and it's not quite there. Now, if they tell you to go up and look inside the reactor and see if it's still there, say no. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much. But if you're 10 miles away and the thing starts melting down and you get in your car, you're probably not going to die.
All right.
Now, so let's talk about those things. We've kind of scared you a little bit. act confused about our information. We did that just to test you to see if you were paying attention.
Right. Are you going to start drinking a glass of vodka every hour?
Now, that was actually us trying to kill off that one person.
Yeah.
We weren't sure if you were going to make it past 14 minutes.
I think we just murdered somebody.
We murdered one guy.
One dude.
So that may not be actual information you should follow, but it is real information from a HBO TV show.
Yeah. Now, I can say...
Yes.
I can say with all certainty, because my ex-mother-in-law did this, you can drink 2 gallons of vodka a week.
Okay.
And still survive.
Yes.
Because she manages to do it every week after week.
Every week.
So, I mean,
consistent.
That's something. Should we just talk about what we should do if we live near a nuclear power plant?
I think that's where we're finally getting. I just had to have a little preamble, get you a little nervous about things.
All right.
If you start bleeding out of things or throwing up a lot, that's bad.
Right.
So like I was starting to tell you guys before, basically dust, that kind of stuff. You see people in suits. Turns out these suits don't have to be all that much. They basically have to be something that's going to keep the dust and particles off you.
Physically off your body.
So when you get back to somewhere safe, you can remove your outer garments.
Right. Get rinsed off.
And start over. Now,
right.
So these can be like paper suits. They don't need to be crazy.
They just have to be
not going to
removable.
protect you to go up and look inside the abyss, in Chernobyl, but they are going to protect you from the dust so that as soon as you get back to safety, you're going to stop being exposed to radiation.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be out there breathing in. Believe it or not, even one of those stupid little air masks is going to do more to help you, a dust mask, than nothing. Mm-hmm. It's going to help a lot. Not drinking contaminated water or eating contaminated food. Right. These are going to be big things, and that's things that the dust got onto.
Yeah. Physically, you don't want to ingest anything that the dust could be on.
Okay.
If you're within 20 miles of a nuclear power plant.
Okay.
And what they do is let's start before. You live within 20 miles of a nuclear power plant. You want to make yourself a bug out bag specifically for that event.
Okay.
What you're going to have in this bug out bag, aside of the normal things that you would have in yours, would be plastic sheeting, duct tape,
yes,
scissors to cut things to the right size, and potassium iodide.
Yes, it is potassium iodide tablets.
You can get them at a pharmacy.
You can get them on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
130 milligram tablets will provide an adult 24 hours of protection.
Yeah, and what that's going to do is it's going to fill your thyroid, right, so that it can't absorb radiation.
Now, if Kevin had let me drone on with nonsense and facts, I would have told you that a bunch of people after Chernobyl got thyroid cancer, which, believe it or not, 98% of the time you live from and don't die from that.
Really?
However, that said, had they taken potassium iodide tablets, they probably wouldn't have gotten thyroid cancer.
Right.
Then I have to point out, it says on the potassium iodide tablets not to take them unless you're sure you're going to be exposed because they might cause thyroid cancer.
Okay, so you're going to get thyroid cancer either way.
That's a dangerous road.
It seems like you're less likely to get thyroid cancer if you take the tablets.
Yes. Than being exposed.
Right.
That is correct.
Right. So you're not going to want to just pop one of those every day just in case.
They usually say on the packet that you get, like how to break it down by weight or whatever for a smaller child or whatever. But, I mean, you can do your math that we'll say an adult weighs 165. And then you figure it out from there.
All right. Second thing that you should do if you live near a power plant.
Okay.
Make a family emergency plan. Basically, you're going to want to have some sort of a way to contact everybody in your family. Have a place where you're going to rendezvous, a location.
I like
right?
it.
If you're not all together, you're going to meet up at such and such. Have an idea where your family members are at all times.
Yes.
I've got a 16-year-old, and it can be a little bit tricky. And for some reason, I pay for his phone, but for some reason, he just doesn't answer his phone.
Yes.
I don't understand how this works.
What I find amazing is that they stare at the phone 24/7.
Right,
but if
when
you're
you
away
call-
and you send him a text, oh, I didn't see it.
No idea.
And
No
I'm
idea.
like, how? How does that happen?
How is that possible?
I don't know. So, and let me expand a little bit. So, Kevin had pointed out you want to keep plastic sheeting and you want to keep duct tape.
Right.
Do you care to expand why we'd
Right.
need those items?
Well, you're going to want to seal...
Am I rushing you?
Well, let's wait. Let's move on. Let's
All right.
one more before pre-planning tip here. If you're within 10 miles of a nuclear power plant, you're going to get automatically annual information and safety tips.
Yes.
If you don't live within 10 miles, you don't automatically get it, but you can contact the
sign up
company
for
that owns the
alerts.
power plant.
Yes.
They will give you and provide the information for you. They're required by law to provide you the information if you request it. All right. Now let's say that you're within 10, 20 miles of a power plant. You get an emergency alert, right? Radiation, whatever. They're going to tell you either to stay in your house because it's too late to leave, or they're going to tell you to leave immediately. All right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is if they tell you to get out, increase the distance between you and the source of the radiation.
Okay.
Now, if you remain indoors, it will reduce your exposure to the radiation.
Yes.
So it depends on how far along you are. If you miss that window, you might be better off in your house.
Okay.
What you're going to want to do is keep your doors and your windows closed.
What if I really like fresh air?
You're out of luck, dude.
Damn it.
Close your windows, turn off your ACs, turn off your furnace, turn off any ventilation fans, duct tape your windows shut, all the creases in your doors, plastic sheeting and duct tape come in here. Okay. This is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to seal any air from the outside from getting inside. You're going to want to go to the basement.
Yes.
You're going to want to place furniture between you and the source of the radiation. Any
Dense
furniture,
material.
everything you have, dense material is best. Push everything up against the wall that's facing the source there.
Right.
All right. If you're evacuating by car.
All right. Well, let me a little bit more downstairs.
Okay.
So they have, put yourself in a corner. You want to be against the concrete wall.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, Chuck, I don't have a basement. We live in the South and everything is sand and there's no, concrete basement.
Yeah, you're going to die now.
So you're going to die. But you want to put, like you said, dense material. So we're talking about dressers, bookshelves, maybe a mattress you could lay up there. Not that great, but it's better than nothing. And you want to kind of hunker down. Now, remember what I said about every 24 hours, you're going to want to, you're going to be better off. Sorry, every 24 hours, you're going to be better than the 24 hours before. You're going to want to fill up your water immediately. So that way, and so, we've talked about where to get water from before, like your water heater. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to fill the bathtub, fill the washing machine. Hopefully you got my favorite, Kevin hates when I say it, the water bob.
The water bob?
Kevin's already making faces at me like, motherfucker, how'd you get that in there? So you're going to want to fill these up. Then you're going to want to kind of set up your thing downstairs. Now, it's not like a big immediate, like you think the big blast is coming, like gets Harrison Ford in that movie, and he's in the refrigerator.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
We're not worried about that. We're worried about getting you as quickly to a safe spot, but putting up the plastic, taping things off, that stuff is more important than you getting to your secure location.
Right.
It's not more important than you don't want to be outside.
Right. Get indoors first.
You want to be indoors, but I'm not saying go to the hardware store and get plastic and tape.
That time is past.
That time is past. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Go to your basement and whatever. But if you can secure your house and secure, your water and supplies you're going to need. Then get everybody down to this secure location, is low down in the ground, and you're going to want to freaking just kind of huddle up there. And I hate to say it, you want to stay there for about 3 days, depending how close you are.
Right. Now,
ideally 7 days, but
right.
I know nobody wants to hear that.
Remember that it's called fallout for a reason.
Okay.
Generally speaking, this material is hot. It goes up in the air. It cools. And then it comes down. The dust that's settling is is what you're worried about.
This is where the radiation's coming from.
Right. So, all right, if you're taking off, if you're leaving, keep your car windows closed, vents closed, and you know that little recirculation button that's in your car?
Yes.
If you got to run the AC, run that on recirculation.
All right.
You're going to want to keep anything outdoors from getting inside your car while you're making distance as fast as possible. Now, sometimes, you know where you live. You know what your traffic's like. If you think you have a bunch of idiots around you, maybe staying put is the best bet.
Yes. And especially if you're outside the 10 miles.
Mm-hmm.
If you're inside the 10 miles, I would make a lot of effort to go somewhere.
Right.
But also, make sure you have somewhere to go.
Right. And that brings me to my next point here. If you're in a situation, say my car's broke down or whatever, don't know what to do, panicking, you can text shelter and your zip code.
Really?
To 43362. And they will text you back the nearest shelter to
You might want to save that in your phone right now.
Right. 43362.
Oh, sorry.
Just
43362.
62.
All right. Kevin will even pause for a second so you can write that down.
Right.
Or I'll
Jot
just
it down.
babble on about bullshit because, dead air is the end of radio, right?
Shelter. So just type in shelter and your zip code and text it to 43362.
Now, if I spell shelter wrong or anything, you think they're still going to figure it out?
You're done.
You're done?
You're done for. You're dead.
You're just going to die? Okay.
Mm-hmm. You're going to want to listen to your local radio and TV news. Don't put on CNN. Don't put on Fox. Whatever it is that you listen to, you're going to want to stick with your local sources because they're going to be chiefly concerned with getting people to a safe place. Act quickly if you come in contact with contaminated material. If you're outdoors, you didn't know what was going on, you find out, you get indoors, fine. Take your clothes off. Bag them up. Throw them outside. Get everything off of you as soon as possible. Shower. Get in the shower.
Yes.
And wash your ass.
Freshwater wash down.
Mm-hmm. Change your clothes and your shoes. Get rid of them.
Yes.
Now let's talk about how you know that you've got radiation poisoning. I'm going to run through a couple of symptoms. Most likely symptom is nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Loss of appetite, headaches, rapid heartbeat, which I wouldn't have guessed, temporary hair loss, and loss of sex drive. Might be related to the hair loss, but I mean, that's something.
Well, this is your drive, your desire to have sex, not your ability to have sex that's gone away.
But also it can disrupt fertility. Like you might stop having your menstrual cycle because of radiation poisoning. Now, we're in a first world country. Most people listening to this are in first or second world countries. Hopefully the hospitals and things like that are going to be working. And if you get to a hospital and you're able to be treated, there's not a lot they can do for you.
They can't get it out of you.
You basically have it, or you don't have it.
The freshwater washdown is the key, is to getting it off of you
immediately, as fast as possible.
They say, like if you had like a rain poncho, you can grab out of the car or something. Dust masks, anything you can do to keep the dust and the particles on the outside, and then something you can discard as soon as you're in a safe area. Also think about your pets.
Mm-hmm.
And if your pet's outside, again, if it's immediate, there probably aren't dust clouds. You know, if you're hearing, oh, I'm getting an alert on my phone and the plant's 10 miles away, you know what? Your dog that's out in the yard right now probably hasn't been exposed.
Right.
But getting them inside and whatever, and honestly, giving them a little wash down probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right. And, you know, all these power plants have sirens that go off if there's an issue. So, I mean, you know, you can hope you hear it if you're outdoors. But, I mean, you know, if you want to be conscientious of these are things you want to be conscientious of if you're within 10 or 20 miles of a power plant. Anything?
The nuclear website, I'm just looking at the guide that they gave me, was maybe the humane option is to put your dog down if it's going to tighten your resources.
Ooh.
And I'm like, man. And they were like, it's better than just letting it go outside because radiation is bad.
Yeah.
Toilet use. Again, we're talking about not bringing new water into your house.
Right.
And that's the thing. You're like, oh, well, the faucet still works. But is that water contaminated?
Right.
So
and a good rule of thumb
might
is...
be 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, a good rule of thumb is... I mean, you guys should all... If you're listening to this show, you should know where your water is coming from.
Yeah.
If it's a well in your yard, you've got a little bit more time
than
if it's coming from a water tower.
Yes. Well, even inside the water tower, as long as it's there and not the open reservoir up the road, you know, up the mountain or whatever.
How far how far do the pipes that deliver your water?
If it's
how far
coming
is your
from
house?
inside the pipe, you're okay.
Right. It's underground and it's safe. But I mean, you have to think that everybody else in the street is running the water also.
But don't think your well is indefinite.
Right.
For, you know,
fill up as much as possible, as fast as possible, and then stop using it.
And then stop using it. And then again, after about 7 days, outside that 10-mile area, you can start to, you know, work things back in, you know, in limited quantities.
Right.
See what else. I got a lot of notes here. Basically, what we're getting at is you need to plan ahead. You need to have the plastic and the tape ready. You need to have the evacuation plan. You need to, you know, understand how these things work. You need to sign up for the alerts, you know, from your thing. You need to not buy your house closer than 50 miles to a nuclear power plant, unless you get paid really well. And then, you know, I mean, some things are, because then you can buy more guns.
Yeah, that's true. And nuclear power is very inexpensive.
Very inexpensive,
so you can enjoy that
and awesome.
Too.
When
20%.
We have a nuclear power plant about 90 miles away from us. And they're actually talking about shutting it down because New York, we're afraid of everything, and God forbid. And it's, God forbid, we got to protect New York City. Because if they were exposed, that would be bad. But everybody else, fuck them, you know? So we're about 90 miles away, and they're shutting it down and slowly whatever, which I have to point out is still a hazard to us. But it also means our electric bills are about to turn to shit.
Yeah.
And right now they're good. And they had this big push where they're coming around our community, and they're like, oh, everybody sign up for solar. And then now all the local municipalities are like, you know, we're going to tax anybody who has solar panels on their house because that only seems right.
Really? I didn't hear about this.
Oh, that's the big thing now.
That's good.
So they're getting excited about that.
That's
they're
good.
like,
Everybody's worried about global warming, but they're going to get punished if you're working.
We're going to punish you.
Now, 20% of the nation's power comes from nuclear power.
Nuclear power is awesome.
It is.
There is no
greenhouse
downside.
gases.
There's no greenhouse gases. The downsides are so minimal. But if you're a prepper and you believe that an EMP or major catastrophe, even earthquake, tsunami, those kind of things, if you think that's a real threat, then there is definitely some red flags.
And just remember that the guy that works at the nuclear power plant is probably just as dumb as you and I are.
Homer
he just
Simpson
has the
works
right,
at a
right.
nuclear power
He just
plant.
has the degree in that specific thing. So if you think of yourself and how many times you fuck up in a day, just remember that's the same dude that's working there.
Danger zone.
So there's only been 3 major events: Chernobyl,
3
Fukushima,
Mile,
and 3 Mile Island.
3 Mile Island and Fukushima. Now, nobody died from radiation at Fukushima, and nobody died from radiation at 3 Mile Island.
Yet.
And supposedly only 59 people to present day have died at Chernobyl.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to blame communism for most of those deaths.
Yeah, because the socialists are always very accurate with their death count numbers. So,
yes.
I mean, I feel like we can trust on that one.
Speaking of socialists, I did hear this week that, you know how they always like to compare that, up till like 2012, Venezuela is the model of what we should be following.
Bernie Sanders in 2012 said that we should be following Venezuela's model.
Bernie Sanders now is saying, well, Venezuela now is still better than New Jersey.
I've been in New Jersey. It ain't that bad.
It's bad, but it ain't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. So I'm just saying, there's a thing going on there.
Camden, New Jersey. It's rough town.
It's a dirty horse, but somebody's got to ride it, right?
That's right.
Oh, no. So that's what we got about that. Basically, get the fuck out of there. But really, if you're outside 50 miles, I wouldn't be that much of a threat. But do keep in mind that animals coming out of the exposed area can be carrying. And once you ingest stuff, it's an issue.
Yeah, don't eat those animals.
But just the same, it's all about time. As time passes, it depends. How hungry are you, whatever. And, things go. So, every day is a little bit better, a little bit safer. So, just something to think about. Hopefully, we gave you some insight.
Yeah,
hopefully,
best bet is to hunker down and wait it out.
As long as you can wait it out 7 days. And if you're freaking listening to this show,
you should have at least 7 days.
You should have 7 days. And especially if you're by the power plant. Come on. Really.
Get your shit together.
Come on. Get it together.
7 days. Chuck and I always recommend a minimum of 2 weeks.
2 weeks is amateur hour.
Yeah, that's amateur hour. That's having a pantry is 2 weeks. Just,
But actually make sure your pantry does have 2 weeks in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because your pantry should have 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Go to Sam's Club.
Buy the ramen.
Buy the big containers of peanut butter.
The big peanut butter, the big ramen. You're in some red sauce and some beans.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be good. The 25-pound bag of rice for $10.
Always a recommendation.
Everything we just said you can buy for $100.
All that stuff.
Come on,
$100.
You can't tell me you guys can't come up with $100. Come on.
Yeah, because let's remember when that happens, you're not going to be out hunting because you're not going to want to eat whatever you're hunting.
No, and you're not going to want to go out there for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you really 100%, 3 days, you need to be down in that secure area, and it's going to suck. And close quarters, and nobody wants to be like that. Now, awesome if you have the big basement, but also remember, there's dust up on your roof, and it will go right through. Just because you have a roof and a story below it, radiation is still coming down and exposing you.
And if you have a 2-story house and you're in the south, first floor is better than the second floor, but you still have to be conscientious.
Because it is further up from you. But again, still stack stuff in the walls, around you, and set up as much of an area as you're willing to live with. And you know what? If you're in that 50-mile area, order the potassium iodide or whatever tablets.
Have that.
And I will check it out. I hate to misquote things. It is, potassium iodide. Mm-hmm. So make sure you have those and you're ready if you're in that danger zone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's something you need to plan for. And maybe some for your neighbors, or maybe just freaking get on your neighbor's ass to go buy some. Because don't be stupid, Plan, because that little bit will protect you one more layer, one more level of protection. Now, I know we've been pushing the Prepping Badass group.
Yeah, get on the Facebook. There's a lot of fun stuff on there.
A lot of fun going on there. There's a lot of talking going on. Apparently, I may have pushed one of you guys into finally building an AR-15. Brian, I think it was. So, Brian, hats off to you. Now, Brian actually mentioned that he had ordered a build kit with with 223 Wild barrel. Now, the Wild barrel, a lot of you guys are probably like, I don't even understand what that is. Why wouldn't I just want 5.56? Because 5.56 shoots both. Why would I get 223 Wild when I know that a 223 can't shoot 5.56? Well, let me explain it to you. Turns out 223 Wild can actually shoot 5.56 and 223. You're like, all right, but I already had that with 5.56. Why am I getting all crazy? Well, the Wild part, what it means is it's actually set up so that this barrel will do a better job shooting 223 and shooting 5.56 versus 5.56 actually gives you a lesser accuracy out of the 223. So Wild is kind of a cut above. So it really is the better barrel, and then you are able to shoot both bullets through it. And when you shoot the cheaper 223 ammo, you're going to get higher quality results than if you had just bought a 5.56 barrel. So I'm just putting that out there. That was a good choice. I got to say thumbs up. I like you doing the research. And maybe he already knew this. Maybe the guy in the gun store was like, you know what? This is where you need to be. But either way, hats off. And I know a lot of the guys are having big sales for Father's Day coming up. And there's a lot of good shit out there. Also, Patreon. You guys know patreon.com. You can support us. As little as $1 a month will get you a Prepping Badass patch.
That's right. We found an extra stash. There's
an
a
extra
couple of them
stash.
left.
We're pretty good. They're not with the Velcro back, hook and loop or whatever. We haven't worked that out yet, but we're working on it. And some T-shirts may be coming. I think I might actually set up like a Prepping Badass store.
All right.
I know you guys have seen there's some knives coming. Some Bowie knives.
Right.
That are pretty spectacular, I got to say.
Damascus steel, is that correct?
Damascus steel, yes. And then there's also some field skinner knives, for your bushcraft types. We got some good things coming. So, again, Kevin had mentioned joining the Facebook group. When you join the group, you're going to see when these things come available and see the new ideas, new things that are coming out. And you might be able to influence us a little bit. And also, you may want to shoot us an email at preppingbadass@gmail.com and tell us your ideas for a podcast episode.
Yeah, this is a podcast that we got
from Chris.
Right. This idea came from Chris. So if you're concerned about something or you're thinking about something that we haven't talked about yet, let us know. We're always interested in new ideas for shows.
Maybe you live in Australia and you're worried about a wombat uprising.
Yes, I've been hearing about this.
Hamish had some things to say, whatever. So maybe that's your thing.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about my neighbor's turkey had been fucked up by something. Something got on it and just fucked it up and then left it to die.
All right.
I had my suspicions, but my neighbor just told me that his wife had gone out and seen a Fisher cat in the driveway. And so I think we found our culprit. Those things are really nasty little badgers.
Well, the creek right here has a lot of Fisher cats. I had people in the next county were like, oh, you live by that creek? It's full of Fisher cats. And I've seen some pictures, and they're pretty big.
Yeah, they're nasty guys.
They are creepy beasts.
They're a little bit smaller than a Wolverine, but they're just about as nasty.
Sounds right. And for those of you who don't know how big a Wolverine is,
well,
they're a little bit.
Get your
They
shit
can
together.
be pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bigger than a big cat.
Well, let's think 60, 70 pound even.
Yeah, they get pretty big.
They're pretty beastie. So
medium-sized dog size. A Fisher cat is more of
they
a
can
30
be medium
pound guy.
large.
Mhm.
I've seen some big boys.
Yeah.
So think long and muscular. But anyway, with that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.